You're listening to Session/Episode 94 of Primordial Harmony, a retelling of the classic Elemental Evil story in the Dungeons & Dragons multiverse. My name is Mike, I run this, and tonight I'm joined by...
Hello, I'm Senna, and I'm playing both Delia the Gnome Wizard and Snow the Elven Tempest Cleric.
Hi, I'm Kitties, and I am playing both Hum, the Bard Gnome, and Ren, the Goliath Barbarian.
Hey, I'm Miles. I'm playing an awesome art seeker named Tadias Odenov. I'm also playing a human druid named Chadicus Winthrop.
Hey, I'm Zaf, and I play Zachar Vitalis, the Fire Genasi fighter, as well as Vardik, the Hobgoblin Paladin of Vengeance.
And our ally Nyx, who plays Bit the Tabaxi monk, and Vox, the changeling rogue, will be late tonight, but she'll be around. And we will proceed on with recaps. And I'm going to do recaps a little bit differently this time. Kind of give it to you a little more relaxed way. Ease back into this character knowledge. It's been a while. So, when we last left the excavators, in the hollowed ground of the tomb of Hendrel Foebreaker, a long-dead dwarven hero, Delia, Hum, Tadias, Vox, and Zachriel. With Lucy the Bullet, Rook the Snurtneblin adventurer, and Mikal the human artificer take a breather after the intense battle with the air cult prophet Arisi and defected four-stride militia marshal Bernard Chanzal. What a title. Tadias took time to identify the new items the party acquired, one being Windvane, the weapon of evil elemental air, and the strange orb with stormy energy. This orb, Tadias would find, was a devastation orb of air, an elemental bomb that upon detonation would bring forth a devastating 2-mile-wide windstorm that would likely kill anyone exposed to it. Not only that, but it was set to blow in less than 24 hours. And once it leaves the Fane of the Eye, or as we refer to it, the Cult Nexus, it would be extremely sensitive to any sort of damage, which could set it off early. The Excavator's plan changed. Instead of taking Mikal back to Fourstride on the way he was brought into the complex, the group opted to return via the Earth Cult lair and ride back through the tunnel under the mountains, all of which happened during the night as the group drove and slept in shifts, back to the ruined Sacred Stone Monastery to detonate the orb in a place far away from any inhabited area. This was accomplished fairly easily, with no injuries, thanks to a simple remote drop of the orb hacked together by Tadias, and a shelter of Delia's tiny hut. The party got to observe the awesome power up close, but safely. That done, the group returned to Oreborough, and ended up taking a day off of sorts. Hum experimented with Chan's chimes, taking advantage of the newfound control she had over the note she could play from them. Delia and Rook spoke with Renwick about their further adventures. Into the evening, the party discussed what to do next. As Delia would send to Gordon about their discoveries, Gordon would then ask for the excavators, subtly ask the excavators to return to Fourstride along with his task force to plan and share knowledge, but at this point, the group decided to return to the Fane of the Eye and find the Earth Portal. So, when we left GTF, Chadicus Bit, Ren, and Vardik, with the lovable oaf Stoneflame, took up the Order of Lycan's offer and ventured back into the Conadir Forest. They met with Elquinus on the river Tudera as it runs through the trees, and he leads them to a field of harsh bracken. After making them promise not to reveal the location of their priory to outsiders, he shows them the way in. The walls of the Priory of Lycan appear before them. Upon entering, the party would meet the leaders of the Order, and would be shown the grounds. All the members of the Order of Lycan are Wood Elves, all except for their supposed founder and leader, Lord Samular, a human. Samular would return to the Priory a short time after the party arrived, carrying with him a captured orc, bound and gagged. Samular told the party that they would meet properly once he calmed the orc down in a small room away from the wood elves of the order, who all looked to the orc with disdain. Samular would then return, a grim face and a dead orc on his shoulder, and while all the wood elves of the order seemed to regard this as a normal occurrence, the opinions in the party were quite mixed. Nonetheless, Samular and the other leaders of the order would collect the members and the party in a ceremony. Samular would present GTF with the boon of the life tree sap, a powerful, actual superfood that, upon a creature's first time consuming it, would heighten their vitality and steal their natural immunity against, steal as in like S-T-E-E-L, their natural immunity against a deadly disease once. After the ceremony, Chadicus received a sending from Gordon, informing him that there had been raids from defected militiamen on the outlying farms of Forstride. The party stayed the night in the Priory and in the morning headed north out from the forest and toward the Silch Road. On the way in that direction, as it turned out, they're headed towards Oreborough, and in fact, Gordon's task force saw a huge vortex in the mountains, some kind of tornado of air. It occurred to me that that party would have seen that happen on the way to Oreborough, so I thought to mention it here. So, here we are. I think we'll start with the excavators, and I'm going to take a few liberties here, but we return to the scene where the excavators are in Renwick's bigger on the inside abode. I'm just going to take you guys to the scene dressing. So this is after the conversation where you guys decided to head back in the next morning, back to the Sacred Stone Monastery, back through the tunnel. It is at this point that you hear a knock at the door. Renwick kind of looks up, and he says, come. And a town guard of Oreborough peeks his head in and says, hope I'm not disrupting anything. There's a new group that's similar to you that just arrived. They called themselves, Gordon's task force, Gordon of the Wayshields. They're here in town. Just thought it might be prudent to mention that. And then he just absconds.
I smell a cook-off.
I'm feeling hungry.
We can probably go check out on them. They may have gotten to something as well.
So, GTF, along with Stoneflame, finds themselves in Oreborough as they had opened the gate for you guys. And just, I think you guys can... The map for Oreborough is in the PC folder. Is in the in the player handouts folder. So if you guys want to reference that for locational purposes, feel free. I should make a marker for Renwick's house, but he's on the left side, the right, the eastern side of all the shacks, the mini shantytown-like area, while GTF is at the entrance. So GTF has just entered. What do you guys... What is the intent here? It is late. Sun is low in the sky. You've been walking all day. first through forests, now through uneven plains.
Chadicus is personally excited about finding a bed, so he's going to walk down the main street of the piers and try to find the first place that would be offering that.
Okay.
Ren is doing the same.
Snow will probably go with them.
Stoneflame looks around and he then kind of lurches over and his stomach growls audibly. Oh, let's find some food, eh, Ren?
You are always hungry.
Been walking all day.
Yes, yes, you're right. I wonder if the Chadicus would cook for us today.
If we can find some provisions of some sort, I would not oppose to it.
This is a town. They will have provisions. What do you need?
It's a mountainous town, so I imagine they have good beetroots, perhaps. Maybe potatoes, something like that.
Are you sick of root? I think I'll go to the bar for beer and meat.
Oh,
Beer sounds really good.
I could go for something of the sort.
going up the main drag. Group of buildings up the main drag, but something does draw the attention of GTF as they see a massive creature just hanging out amongst the shacks to their right. That looks like a cross between a shark and an elephant.
It is wearing a very cute bowl.
Have any of us ever seen a creature like this?
I don't know if anyone in GTF has actually seen a bullet. They've probably heard of it from excavators when you guys had your big powwow the first time. But I'm not sure anyone's actually seen it.
Not even I, the hobgoblin traveler?
You might have seen it once. You might recognize it from depictions and stories, and you might have seen it once. And you might have actually seen a cultist riding one at one point during Lysandra's recruiting.
I think his only concern now is, well, at least I'm not the strangest looking thing here. As I look at all the humans in Oreborough.
It looks like somebody owns it, though. Did you see how cute it looks with that bow?
I've seen cultists ride those creatures before.
Perhaps they're using it in the mountains for something. Clearing paths, maybe?
Do you think there may be cultists here?
They could be cultists.
This is a possibility.
Damn it. I just wanted beer and food.
We can do that as well. We'll just be vigilant in case there are cultists around or near the beer and food. But I'm going to give this a wide berth, if you don't mind. As I cross the other side of the street as I walk past it.
But it is very cute.
So as you, GTF kind of considers this, what are the excavators doing?
Well, we should probably get our ways back to the monastery and back underground to find that portal.
Shouldn't we wait till tomorrow morning?
Yeah, it is pretty late.
Should we go see the Gordon's task force?
Perhaps we can hand them off this one, as I went through Mikhail.
Oh, yes, we could send them back with him.
Mikhail's his eyes kind of light up and he says, "Oh, I can go home sooner." And then he looks at Renwick, and then he actually looks like he's considering. After all, you'd already the conversation that I didn't go over was that he was going to stay with Renwick and devise a way to contain an elemental weapon without having to consistently cast Dispel Magic on it. So he looks like he's considering. He says, I'll think about it. And of course that depends on them, of course, wherever they're going, says Mikkel. And then Renwick says, I'd sure like to know what they're up to. You said that they were dealing with the fire in the forest, correct?
Did we say that? I don't think we did.
I think so.
I think we did. Never mind. I'm confused. It's been a long day.
You feel free to invite them here if you'd like.
There's 2 Goliaths in that party. That's big people.
And Renwick smiles. He's in his he makes it so that he can smile in some sort of disguise, and he says, "We can accommodate them. Don't worry."
I have a feeling this room grows as the number of people show up. Hum kind of looks around.
Renwick gives Hum a knowing look.
You could have brought your bullet in here.
That is such a good idea.
No, please, no.
Is she housebroken?
I think she is.
No. If she comes in here, I'm leaving.
Oh, Zachariah, you're being such a party pooper.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Did one of them bite your arm off?
Lucy didn't bite your arm off.
Still a very fresh scenario.
That's still tender.
Biggest tendons, but either way.
You could say those creatures have a taste for genasi.
You're very spicy.
Fine.
That was my chopping hand.
Was that a setup for a joke? Says Rook.
What?
Everything's a setup for a joke.
Never mind. Well, if these folks are as powerful as you, I'd like to meet them as well.
Yeah, we should probably go find him.
Don't know about as powerful as us, but they're alright.
They're definitely strange. Like us.
That is true. They're very strange.
Well, let's go check it out then.
That's the sound of stairs from A Link to the Past. So, as GTF turns to start heading towards the main drag, towards where there probably is a tavern, coming through the... Actually, GTF hears the bullet kind of give a cry. Rah! And Lucy is happy to see Hum and Delia, and kind of jumps up on his her hind legs and then just smashes down, and it kicks up a little bit of dust.
Lucy, stay.
Alright.
Ma.
But she gives Hum a rough lick anyway. And with your attention drawn, GTF, the party sees the excavators headed toward you, and Stoneflame says, "Hey!"
Is it time for the fight, Zachariah?
As you see Stoneflame starting to approach, he's got a big grin on his face.
Ready for what fight?
Don't you owe him a fight?
Oh, it's Stoneflame with them.
And he gets up to you and he says, "Zachariel, how are you?"
Just really tired.
can't wait to hear what you've been through. He says, looking.
Oh, we set off a wind bomb.
Is that what that was? We saw
think-
a big tornado in the mountains on the way here.
Yeah, that would be these two. And he points at Delia and Jedias.
I wave.
Kind of shrug.
What did you do? And at this point, I would suppose that the entirety of this big F-off party is together now.
Oh, wonderful. The excavators. This is perfect timing. We have to discuss a few things. We've managed to stop the fires in the forest.
Oh, good.
However, we did manage to find a very scaly sentry further than the underground that we didn't want to perturb.
We found a scaly sentry as well.
Curiouser and curiouser. Maybe we should discuss this over alcohol and food, as that sounds like this interested the most of my teammates at this moment.
What happened in the forest? Was everyone okay? Or did they...
Traitors were killed, cultists were eviscerated. Normal business.
And those rangers, did you meet them?
The Lycan.
Yes.
Yes,
What-
we've been sort of, in some ways, accepted by them. I don't know how would we say. Would it be a mark of approval? What would you think, Ren?
That is probably a good representation of what happened. There was some weird stuff going on too.
Did you meet the leader of the Lycan? I was curious who that was.
The Samuel guy?
Yes,
Yeah.
Delia heard that.
Wait, Samuel?
Yeah, he is kind of shady. He took an orc into a room, and the orc died somehow.
Oh, great. So they're back to attacking orcs.
Ren, I think there's somebody that you should meet. I mean, all of you. Since you guys talked to Samuel.
Is it a friend of Samuel, or is there another ranger in this town?
Well, he's not.
Maybe I
he's
am
not a
talking out of turn
ranger.
then. Maybe it wasn't weird. Maybe I just don't understand it. But I could have worked with the orcs, and they didn't want to work with those orcs.
I did work with those orcs. I show her the shitty orc sword.
Wait, which was that, Zachariel or Vardic?
Zachariel.
Stoneflame
You
says,
did. I am very impressed with you, Mr. Zachariel. Giving people a chance is very important.
People, elements, cultists, they all get the chance.
Well, things, the humanoids or non-humanoids.
Well, if we're going
They
to
even give Stoneflame a chance. Look how that's worked out.
he then kind of looks at
You,
Zachariel.
you deserve, real kudos for working with that guy.
Hey.
Hey, I am just saying.
Rook then approaches. You got GTF sees for the first time this gray-skinned gnome, and he says, And then he says in Primordial, Terran, do any of you speak Primordial? And then in Gnomish, do any of you speak Gnomish?
We're gonna have to teach you some common there, Rook.
I speak Primordial. Snow does.
How close does Gnomish sound to Goblin? Is it close at all?
That's a question I've never considered. So, probably.
Could I like pick out a word or two?
Actually, I would. Okay, all right. Off the cuff lore building. Goblin is like a warped pigeon gnomish.
Pigeon gnomish. I love it.
So yeah, you pick up a few words, but Vardic, thinking about like the context of the words, they don't make sense in the context used.
Okay.
Tom explains to the group that, well, I guess she doesn't speak Terran, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he also said in Gnomish, does anyone speak Gnomish? So Hum would probably understand it. He's trying to see if there's any commonalities.
So our friend Rook here only speaks Gnomish and Terran, or Primordial, if anybody understands. I'll be doing some translating for him.
Oh, I thought that was Gnomish. I speak Goblin, obviously.
My
Vardic
Primordial
says.
is very rusty, but I can try. As you can hear a horrible, third year in college accented version of Primordial talk back to Rook for a little bit and say,
That's
greetings.
It's not too bad. And he introduces himself. He says, I'm Rook.
Pleasure to meet you, Rook.
Stoneflame then just bellows out, can we get some food and then have a sit down and talk after we start eating?
These guys got it. Taz gonna walk by and kind of punch him in the shoulder and walk past everybody.
Stoneflame.
I was really hoping that Chadicus would cook for us. He is such a wonderful cook.
Record scratch.
Well,
I'm sorry, did you say that you're a cook?
I dabbled, if you will.
Zachara whips out his cooking utensils.
That he keeps on hand in the same manner as his weapon.
Chadicus raises an eyebrow. Would you like to cook instead, then?
Show me your style.
Oh, is this some sort of elemental duel with food? Is this some Genasi tradition? I'll participate if that's the case. I don't wish to be rude in any way.
I don't know many Genasi traditions, but I do know when I meet another cook, I'd like to taste his food.
Well, this is agreeable. I would say that this evening perhaps is not the best occurrence, so why don't we enjoy the festivities of alcohol and meats, and then prepare ourselves, and then in the morning we'll do our duel of some sort. So you could sheath your... Is that a spatula?
You leave my spatula alone.
I
Tuck it away.
don't mean to, shame your candor or your interest. It's just I've been traveling quite a lot today, and I'm not really feeling up to a dual level of cooking.
Just to throw this out here, I once fed this entire settlement an ankeg gumbo. Are you sure you're up to that task?
It sounds like it would just be a mainstay for acid reflux, so I don't know why you would do such a thing.
I even added extra spice because it was delicious.
Come, guys. Let's go get some meat and some beer.
Oh, should we tell them about him? Renwick, do you want to come drink?
Is Renwick here?
Renwick's not out there with you guys. You're on the field.
I thought we were inside.
No. You're outside on the field.
Oh.
I'm gonna scurry my little gnome legs over and get Renwick
Okay.
and tell him that Gordon's task force met Samuel.
Did I see that you guys petted that big, beautiful animal over there?
I'm gonna switch to a scene with Delia and Renwick, but if anyone wants to react to Ren.
I will react as Hum. Yes!
Is that what him sounds like? Yes, that is our bullet, Lucy.
Yes, that is our creature that is not at all going to cause us immense pain or suffering in the future.
Zachriel has given a taste of his body to one of them and now feels a little off-put by it, but she is ours.
What? Stoneflame says, what do you mean? What taste of body?
It bit my arm off.
We need to sit at the table and tell each other what happened because that sounds exciting.
As you can see, I have both arms.
And
Regenerative magic?
Stoneflame turns around. He looks at Vardic and Snow and everybody else, and he says, let's go, please."
I feel like Stoneflame has missed us.
So as the group starts to head over to Hammer and Tongs Tavern, we cut to Delia scurrying into Renwick's place.
I imagine I bust open the door.
Mikhail's looking at something on one of Renwick's desks, and he drops something. Oh, I have to start that all over again. Delia, what's wrong? Renwick says.
Okay. Gordon's task force is here, and they said that they met Samuel.
You see him visibly tense up. And he says, What? Where and how and when?
I didn't get all the details, but they're headed to the Hammer and Tongs right now to get some food and to sit down and talk.
I'm coming with you. He stands and he puts on the disguise and he starts walking out. And then he says, "Mikhail, why don't you come with us?" Okay.
I'll follow him out.
I'm going to scene transition us to the tavern. And as the owner, whose name is my notes. His name's written down. Crad, the human innkeeper. As you guys enter, he kind of has this look on his face like, there's a lot of people at once, as he's polishing a glass. And this very interesting crowd that has entered, he says, "These are friends of yours then?" Looking at Tobias, at least.
We're going to need bottles. A lot of them.
Can do. His eyes are like dinner plates, money bags in his eyes as he starts pulling out some bottles of ale. And feel free to position your own tokens in however manner you want. Is just placing a little stage. Crad calls out to some of the waiters and waitresses. I want to call them wenches. They're good people. As glasses, steins are being placed down and bottles are being placed down on this table as you guys gather around. And you know what? I'll put in some tavern music. Why not? So, Renwick sits down. He looks with interest at the members of GTF, but he doesn't say anything yet. But Stoneflame sits down. He takes a big draft of his drink, and he says, "So what happened? So what happened to all of you?"
Would you like the long version of the short? Zachariel pipes up.
Stoneflame considers, and he says, "The interesting bits."
Well, the short version is we killed 2 elemental prophets. The interesting bit is that explosion that you saw on the way up here.
I think you also wanted to ask about your arm.
Yes, pork chop, I'm getting to that.
Alright, Lefty, be cool with it.
So it turns out that this certain elemental creature, this prophet of earth, snakes are here for some reason. If you looked at him, you would turn to stone. He sent bullets, like that creature they have outside, after
She
me,
has a name.
as well as golems and this ghost thing. I think went after Delia, and the bullet latched onto my arm, bit it off, and swallowed Sunni. And then my arm regrew in a fiery, magma-esque form.
Mikhail is just listening to this with wide eyes. Because I don't think you've ever told him.
No. So that's the story of how I lost a body part. And Stoneflame, before you ask, I don't know if it'll happen again.
And he looks crestfallen when you say that. And then he, leans over to, I'll just say, Bit. And then he whispers, "I was hoping to try it out."
You sound like you're kind of like a lizard.
Oh, what did you just say to me?
She
You
called
have
you a
body
lizard.
parts growing back.
Okay, look, I don't know how to explain it, but I don't think I'm a lizard.
Are you sure?
Well, I think
No.
I'm more akin to a demigod.
No, this could be simple troll blood, and there's very
Nope,
multitude of creatures that could possibly do such a thing.
nope, I'm not a troll.
Is Hum
Am I?
translating for Rook?
I miss.
Rook is kind of chuckling at that whole thing. And then he whispers in, because of placement, he whispers in Delia's ear and says, "Maybe you should mention that he's part elemental."
I'll whisper back. I think it's funnier this way.
And he giggles some more and then takes a sip of his drink.
Although, if I was a lizard or a troll, maybe that would explain the frog.
Froggy myth?
Zachariel shudders.
You're just too delicious for this world, Zachariel. Everything wants to eat you.
Oh,
I
you
was
got
just
that right.
thinking similarly.
Oh, what about you, folks? I mean, we met a dragon that was inside the mountain that was throwing people around with a mind. Fought a whole bunch of cultists. You know, the usual.
Didn't we meet a gnomish person in that one town south of the forest that saw a dragon? Says Stoneflame.
Londa?
Oh,
That was his name, Londog.
We love Londa.
Oh, Londok is a good man.
absolutely.
He was robbed, Stoneflame says.
Really? Did you find the thief?
Actually, you found one of them. ETF. Stoneflame then sort of looks to Snow. Did we? Was that person we had to kill?
I believe so. He's been dealt with.
Oh, good.
There was also a dragon in Tomoror too. That's the name of the town, right?
Wait, there was a dragon and Dortmund. Is that what was causing the flames?
No, thankfully. The cult is in some way befriended or subservient to a dragon that seems to be staying underground mostly.
Really? And where to?
Where to what?
Where is this dragon staying?
It is, on my end of information or understanding, below the headquarters that we cleared out, correct?
Now, was that an amethyst dragon?
I believe it's red.
That means there's 2 dragons.
There are 2 dragons? Stoneflame says.
Alright, Stoneflame, I think me and you can take the red dragon.
Hey, do not leave me out. I am stronger than he is.
Well, yeah, but he is immune to flame, and I can be.
Well, it depends on the flame, he says with a sort of sorrowful look on his face.
Oh, really?
A recent debate we had with a former task force member rendered our Stoneflame's immunity to fire a little bit chafed.
Really? Who was this?
A fellow named Ignacio?
You know, I never trusted that guy.
You are correct not to.
It's just weird. Something off about him. But I guess you handled it, so good job.
Stranger things have been done for love. Strange, foolish things.
I have done many strange things for love, yes.
It is at this point that Renwick says, "So, who did you meet in the forest? I've heard something."
Oh, yes.
And Renwick actually looks a little nervous now.
Snow, Ren, Vardic, Traticus, this is Renwick.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Renwick. It was Samular. He was really bad to some orc.
What did he look like? He says.
I believe he was a human.
Mike realizes he didn't actually give you guys like a description, so you can just say we describe him.
Maybe like
Or you can make
5, 6 foot, long, brown hair, weird scar on his face.
Very, very full of himself.
Very full of himself.
This scar, did it run from his temple down to his chin?
You got to think about that, yes. Right from the tip, from that temple, yes. Didn't look like any blade scar I've ever seen.
Correct. Cold blue eyes kind of mark it right well.
That's because it wasn't a blade. And his shoulders slump and he trembles a little bit. He's in the forest the whole time.
Yeah, it's weird. He, all of his followers are wood elves except for him, but he's the leader of the Lycan. That doesn't make sense. Hates orcs. They vehemently hate orcs. For whatever reason, they're sharing the same land.
He doesn't speak. In fact, he looks like he looks down and into his cup, which he hadn't been imbibing from anyway.
Can Verdict try to catch a look into his eyes to see if he sees the same look?
I don't know if this counts. Well, I mean, it... Yeah,
I mean, it would be him reflecting on sadness, right?
Well, yeah, okay, so... Yeah, he could try to catch his eyes, and that's not really a problem. By the way, hi Nix. GTF and excavators are meeting up in the Hammer and Tongs Tavern in Oreborough and sharing their adventures. So he catches his eyes and he glances over, and it's not the same. Vardic recognizes it, but it's not the same pain that he's felt.
Okay. Right.
In fact, if anything, in that moment, he almost catches a longing for death.
Mm.
But it's also hidden behind a lot of other things. But it's too quick a look to really discern.
Mm.
Kind of want to wait. Oh, so yeah, and then he sort of steals a look at Delia after this revelation, and he looks at Delia with this like look of concern, and it looks like he's about to say something, but then over the din of the conversation, whatever other conversation's going on, he looks like he drops it and he just kind of stares into his drink.
Tadias reaches across the table and grabs his.
He doesn't object when Tadias takes his beverage.
He just kind of like raises it a little bit, like saying like to your health, essentially, and drinks it.
Like fucking Spider says this. Just So, Stoneflame, the man who was once immune to flame, finally felt the heat. He must be getting soft.
No, that Ignacio fellow was just distinctly powerful.
You must be getting soft, old friend. I don't think you're going to be ready for our fight.
He is really soft. It's okay.
Shoot me with the fire right now. Right now. And then he, like, bares his chest. Go ahead.
Hey,
Oh, that's-
hey. We are in a tavern.
No, it's okay. It'll just hit my chest and it'll just die out. No, it'll be no
We
problem.
have already burned down one tavern. Let's not burn down another.
When did we burn down a tavern?
I don't
Missed
think we
that
had
part.
met you yet. Actually, we hadn't met you yet. It was a long time ago.
Said they.
It's okay, Tadias. I'm sure they've rebuilt some of it by now.
You hear Delia say, "I'll do it," and he just like turns toward her and bares his chest. Go ahead, right here.
What if I miss?
It's a good question.
We should do it outside.
Fine. Then he stands up. Then he looks at Zachariel, all grumbly.
Zachary will shrug and get up to follow him out.
So he stands right in front of Delia, and he just says, "Watch," as he looks at Zachariel.
Right, I'll shoot him with a firebolt.
Make an attack roll. With advantage, because he's standing still and he's letting you. Okay. Yeah, so you see it just strike his chest, and the flame just... it washes over him, and he just smiles like he's in a nice hot shower. And it's very clear to Zachariel that this was a strong hit, but it didn't do anything. I told you.
Oh, okay. So you're just only afraid of certain casters. I see.
Well, we killed him, so it doesn't matter anymore anyway. And with a huff,
You
he
know, when
goes
my
back.
arm grew back, I was dealing fire damage with my hand, right?
That's amazing.
Perhaps you'll get your fight.
I'm ready when you are.
When the time is right, I'm sure we'll know.
So you guys head back into the tavern. But as Delia is entering,
Hey, Mike.
what's up?
Out of curiosity, just for Zachariel's sense, how many times can I use Know Thy Enemy on someone?
Know Thy Enemy. Is that from... Oh, that's the Battlemaster feature. There's no resource cap, so... as many times as you want.
Because I feel like over all the times that he has met Stoneflame, that he would have been sizing him up.
Yeah, it makes sense. He probably would be able to know all these things. I don't know if you have access to the sheet, but I mean... Yeah, so... total class...
I'm not going to fight him right now, so
Sure.
you can just, like, DM me later, but...
Sure.
He has been sizing him up every time they've come to this, like, pseudo... Maybe it's going to come to blows thing.
Well, the impression that he gets from Stoneflame is that he's looking for a contest of strength, not a fight, not a to the blood or to the death thing. Like
Yeah, but I mean, you know, he's a warrior. He thinks about the outcomes. He's a battle master.
He knows that Stoneflame would definitely give him a run, despite what Ren says. It's mostly just a question of who can get the upper hand over who the fastest in terms of technique and prowess. And he can tell that Stoneflame... What's Zachariel's strength score?
It's 18.
So he knows Stoneflame is just a little bit stronger than him.
Okay.
Probably similar dexterity, too.
I have a 10 dexterity, so he probably is higher.
Similar dexterity.
Hell yeah.
As Delia is following and going back into the tavern, Renwick comes out, and he looks at Delia and says, "You spare a moment?"
Of course.
And he walks around to the part of the wall of the tavern away from the door. We'll get to that scene in a second. I just want to confer with the rest of you guys. So, Zachariel and Stoneflame enter the bar. Rook will say through hum and all that. So, what are you all going to do next? He says, asking GTF. Because there's still lots of, cultists and stuff.
We received a sending from Gordon from the Force Stride Militia. From the Way Shields. And we are probably going to be heading off to Force Stride in the morning to coordinate with him. It sounds like there's been some defectors raiding farms outside Force Stride, so we're trying to at least coordinate our efforts. And I say that in Primordial as best I can.
Not bad. Hum can translate, though, he says in Primordial.
Verdict is doing that thing, you know, where you kind of like shake your drink and look at it and then take a sip. He kind of has been doing that, and he just says, "I will do what I have to do until my task is finished. I will aid my friends until my retribution is complete." And then his eyes slowly come up to meet Rook, and he stares him dead in the eyes.
You've never mentioned exactly what your being retribution actions are for.
I must seek honor for the clan Dick,
Right.
for all that have fallen.
The fallen dicks, yes. But is there a reason this needs retribution? Is this a revenge thing? What is the motivation? I'm not understanding.
Revenge is my only motivation. I was too weak to save them. I will not be too weak to save you.
how did they die?
The question that Zachariel hum to Dias know, if they wish to chime in.
They died fighting alongside me and them. And he kind of does like the head nod towards the excavators.
A brutal fight.
Oh, it was a hell of a fight, Stoneflame says. The entire temple came down on us.
And them falling in battle is not a place of honor, it's a place of shame.
I do not know. All I know is that the spirit spoke to me and told me that I had to seek retribution.
Well, you've been very helpful so far, so I'm very glad to see that you are joining our team and sticking with us.
I don't even know what the spirit is.
Indeed. Perhaps a god of some sort, but I appreciate your companionship, Vardik. You have been very useful, and I hope you find this retribution one day.
I appreciate you as well. Maybe a bit more meat instead of just the roots, but I appreciate.
I will do my best to take this into consideration next time.
So meanwhile, outside, Renwick displays a mannerism that is odd for a arcane expert who's been alive for several centuries. He leans against the wall of the tavern and he slumps down onto his behind. And he looks at Delia.
How are you feeling?
I don't know. What has he been doing to feed my phylactery?
Well, Ren mentioned something before I came to get you about Samuel are taking an orc like into a building, and it made her uncomfortable. I don't know if maybe that's what he could be using.
Do we... Oh. He says, I feel that I must confront him. I must find him, now that I know that he's in the forest. Perhaps they know how to locate him.
It wouldn't hurt to ask.
He stares out into the low sun, and he shakes a little bit, and he looks at Delia and he says, This... He closes his eyes through his disguise. And he says, this is a lead for another time. This land is still in danger. I can't leave yet, Delia.
No, it doesn't seem opportune. But I don't think anybody would blame you if you did go searching for him.
Renwick stands up and he looks at Delia again in a I'm going this way now kind of expression as he walks back to the tavern.
I will sort of look around and then I'll follow him.
Renwick enters the tavern and he goes up to Chaticus and Snow and he says, Where exactly did you find Samular?
Well, we found him, or met him, in a clearing from the fires. He took us back to a facility the Order of Lycan uses with a very special tree there, and we did a ritual there.
Where
Then-
was this? He says.
Can I insight check him?
Sure. Jackus gets the impression of a great pain and a sense of hurt that has to do with this person.
What has Samuel done to you?
He looks around at everyone gathered here, and his shoulders sort of slump. And he takes one more look at Delia, and then he says, Samular is my brother.
Oh, do you hate orcs as well?
No, well, during the... He says, this might be a better conversation to be had at my residence.
Where I feel most comfortable. We can discuss that now if you'd like to go and pay for the bill now, or if you'd like to stay here for a while. Snow and I are quite accustomed to hearing out people, especially ones that are grieving in some form.
Snow nods.
Vardic is muttering something in Goblin in the back of the room.
A few of the other patrons kind of give him some looks.
Yeah, and it looks like he's actually looking at the wall when he's talking.
Rook then looks to Hum and says, is he alright?
He's been through a lot. In one of our battles with the cultists, almost all of his clan died.
Oh, that's what he was talking about.
Yes, he's in a lot of pain.
Little guy.
Yeah.
He stands up from the table and stalks the goblin, turns around and points at Renwick. Renwick, I, Vardic, of the clan Dick, will help you reunite with your brother.
Well, he looks like he doesn't know what to say. He says, I would appreciate that.
By the power invested in me, by whatever creature, god, deity, or whatever, gave me this, I will aid you in finding your brother and bringing you together.
And he just
For I wish I could be with my brothers.
He then kind of like gives a look at the party like, help me out here.
Tom goes and puts her hand on Vardic's back and says, they don't have the best of relationships.
He just starts crying. It's okay. I'll help him.
There, dear. There, then.
God. Stoneflame was already, I was trying to say this, Stoneflame was already walking over and he also puts his hand on Vardic's shoulder.
More wine. More beer.
Ren stands up with a bottle and brings it over to Vardic and says, You should drink this whole thing, okay?
I agree. Takes it and chugs it.
And Rook says to Delia, whatever Renwick's about to say, there's no way Vardic's gonna remember it.
Yeah, that's true.
So Renwick is standing in an awkward way, just kind of waiting for this big party to collect themselves and eventually start shuffling out from the tavern.
What's the bill look like?
Oh, what's the damage?
Significant.
Significant. For the amount of booze and food, we're going to call it a flat 25 gold.
I'll pulls it out of the coffers. She
Varda
leaves the
checks
next
his
for
pockets
5.
Are still empty.
What's empty? Oh.
Hey, he doesn't have any coin. He never picks it up.
All right. So
It's Ma Dick's job to get the coin.
God. So with the tab paid, very happy Crad Tavern keep. The group starts to shuffle towards Renwick's place, and I like to imagine on the way there, Vardic is stumbling a little bit, drinking his wine. And indeed, as you guys enter this place, this is the first time the GTF is entering, and they notice like how it's bigger on the inside and how it seems to be expanding. How like the room starts to get bigger and more spacious, and a few more pieces of furniture appear.
Bardic, in his drunken stupor, looks at the walls expanding. Oh God, I think I... Is it time for talk now?
Today is gonna walk behind him and gonna put a hand on his arm and be like, "Nah, you're all right. It actually is the room. Don't worry. I thought it was too."
This is weird. You know, Denias, I like you. You drink a lot.
Yeah.
There's plenty of furniture to sit upon in here, and Renwick just kind of like sits down on a big puffy chair, and he just sinks into it. And then he sits up and he looks at Hum and Delia and Zachariel, and he says, so he can trust all of these fine folk with that bit of knowledge, right? Delia knows he's referring to his lichdom.
I mean, I trust them.
I'm gonna walk up. Tadai's gonna walk up and kind of whisper to Delia just for a second and say, "There are 2 clerics. One might be more dangerous than the other about it. Not sure how undead work on that side."
Renrick does pick up on this, and he looks at Snow. What kind of look does Snow give him?
That's a good question. Let me...
One is bathed, the other one hates him.
Snow doesn't really have any sort of like strong feelings about undead in general, because Ariel is like the goddess of cold, and undead things are cold.
Yeah. Well, what I was trying to figure out was like, what's her sort of attitude with Renwick kind of dragging them back here and saying something like, does she betray any sort of apprehension, or is she just like, eh?
No, she's kind of taking in the surroundings. She like picks at her food. She doesn't drink a whole lot. She doesn't seem too perturbed.
So Renwick, he says, okay, well, soon everyone will know my nature before I leave this world, I suppose. He sits up and he gives a little bow and he says, I, Renwick Caradun, am a lich.
What?
Chadicus does that winky guy gif that, huh?
I am an arcanist that has created a way for my body and mind to persist far beyond a human should. I'm
And
effectively immortal.
How long have you been a lich?
He looks toward a window that sort of betrays the setting sun, and he says, 300 years, give or take.
Wait, Samula's a human.
Wow, you are a really old guy.
Tadias, did he say he's a witch?
No, you misheard him. He's a lich with an L.
Oh, is it time to talk? Not time to drink.
No. Hey, we're talking about him. He needs to do something for something.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. We're good.
Verdict's hands go out, and he slaps himself on the face, and he cures his alcohol poisoning. Much better.
So, Mr. Renwick, enlighten me as to how your brother Samula might still be around if you yourself are 300 years being a lich.
I can't answer that, he says. He doesn't sound like he's aged more than 10 years.
Is your brother also the lich?
I don't think so. We worked on my phylactery together.
Well,
then
if
he-
you worked on...
And then he goes into a story about, he says, near the end I made the decision to not go through with the transformation. I didn't take the final step because I wasn't happy with the requirements of maintaining this lich form. And he says, the dark secret about lichdom, most methods of it anyway, is that in order to persist every 7 days or so, my phylactery, the thing that allows me to persist, must be fed a soul.
That seems pretty costly. Yes, sorry, you're a lich. Is it like a title of a wizard, or?
No, it's a...
Powerful undead.
Yes.
You're sure? Vardic's eyes will flash a golden light, and he'll divine sense.
He's very much undead.
Okay. It slowly reaches for the greatsword, looking at everyone else.
Caius grabs his hand very slowly at the same time. Listen, I know. We met him and he could have killed us all, and he didn't. He doesn't want to be this.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you, I looked at him earlier, and it looked like he wanted to die, so...
You might be right about that, but
Little...
that's up to him, and it sounds like his brother might be in the way of that.
Okay, all right. A little bit of holy light.
I have tried ending my own life, and as you would expect, well, you don't know this. If a lich is destroyed, his body is regenerated nearby his phylactery. I tried to destroy my own body, and I appeared in some dark room of location I don't know. And the second I appear there, I would appear back in my study in what is now a destroyed monastery up the road.
How did you get out of the monastery?
I wasn't trapped there, I just sort of...
Oh, you just chose to stay.
Yes.
You're the someone that drew his interest, as kind of knowing what looks at Delia.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
He said, someone drew his interest. Got him out of there. And he knowingly looks at Delia.
I mean, there's only so much studying you can do in a literal cave.
Well, that was one of the interesting things, too, is that I knew that my brother must be still around because he sends me books. Or he sent me books. There's a transportation circle, a one-way, in which books would appear from, I believe, your university's library, he says, looking at Delia.
Oh, Aka.
I know.
So your brother a wizard as well?
No, he might have dabbled in the arcane over the several centuries we haven't been able to speak, he says in a very angry tone. He says he was a warrior.
Slowly reaches for sword again. Listen, I'm just trying to make sense of this. I'm sorry. I still will help you find your brother. And the power invests me. I have no idea who it is, so I don't know if I'm doing anything against him. So, until that time, we could find your brother.
Bardic, this gesture is appreciated, but as much as I would like to confront him and find out how he's feeding my phylactery, well, the world is in jeopardy, he says, looking at the excavators.
Indeed.
Have you told them about the portals? Oh yeah, the portals, Brooke says. After Hum translates.
Isn't the world always in some sort of jeopardy?
It feels like it. Every single time we turn around, there's another catastrophe awaiting us. So, the portals.
Go ahead.
No, Chadwick is asking, like, trying to get back on topic. So, the portals.
Renwick looks at the excavators.
Yes, there are portals that are beneath each of the cult temples. Well, I guess it connects to this thing that we've been calling a nexus. And there's portals there, and they go to the elemental planes, and that's where the like bad Arcno elementals are, and we have to throw some weapons in, and that'll like destroy the portal and the weapon both.
Currently, we have the earth and the wind one.
Will that have any ill effects on this Nexus thing?
We do not know. But inside the Nexus, there's a dark stone tablet, and this is Zachariel speaking. There's Marshal Chanzal smoke thingy.
And Chadicus recognizes that Marshal Chanzal was once a member of the Four Stride Militia.
A former militiaman. You're saying he's a cultist?
Former marshal. He defected and has turned into this weird... It's almost like he's got like this viscous black rot that comes off of him when he attacks.
He also took a bunch of the defectors from the Four Stride Militia. Not just him.
Yes, and they killed Gorbash, I believe.
All eyes on Ren.
But we killed him, so there's that.
Well, it's probably for the best. We don't want anyone with ties to the militia potentially causing some sort of coup. But for the time being, what is the next move? Are you working on closing these portals with these weapons? Where are the weapons?
Well, we have them, but they're hard to maintain on this plane. They keep trying to go back. We have to keep casting. Delia and and Renwick have to keep casting
Renwick,
dispel magic on them.
Renwick nods and he produces Windvane, and he says, "These are tied to an object in this nexus that they refer to." It seems that it'll be drawn there unless it is held by someone who's designated as a prophet of an evil element.
Oh, interesting.
And we have thought, or foolishly thought, that maybe we could somehow bind our own souls to these items, but we have no idea what they would do to us. And considering they're the evil Arco elementals, we can only assume it would not be good.
Renwick pipes up and says, "I would advise against that. It would alter your personality." He looks at Windvane, and he says, "This one would make it so that you break your vows and promises."
What? Hey, Verdict could break his oath.
Interesting thought.
What an accident that would be, holy god.
Bardic as an Oathbreaker Paladin.
Well, no, just like, had the GTF been the ones to find that by accident and him grab a hold of it, attune to it, and instantly become an Oathbreaker.
Well, exploring that for just a second, what that would look like would be like, fuck my clan, I don't care about them, I don't need to take revenge on them. Boom, Oathbreaker. D&D.
Okay, so, also we have, Tedias in your bag. You still have, Iron Fang, yes?
I do. We had the detour that giant tornado stone flame mentioned. We had to
Also,
deal with that
Mikhail.
first. And Mikhail, which perhaps we might insist your help with, but we're trying to at least remove 2 portals and 2 weapons, and then probably head to Fourth Stride. The issue is that there is a source, a center point of all these issues, and it is in the Nearthal Woods east of Fourth Stride. And we think some of the issues happening that you're going to be dealing with most likely are coming from there.
So,
By the way, if you go up through the monastery and down through the tunnel and into that nexus, you can come out at any other elemental temple, including the Nearthal Woods. We met a dwarven spirit who Tedias explained was talking about his empire.
Stoneflame says, would make getting around the area a little faster.
Possibly. It also probably will lead to the other 2 items that you're looking for.
Yes, you guys wouldn't have, Zachariel says to the other group, you guys wouldn't have happened to come across a water, a crushing wave prophet, have you?
No, mostly been dealing with fire cultists. I don't think anything else than
You have been at the Water Temple. This was before Gordon called you guys saying that Fourth Stride was under attack from gnolls. Before the gnoll invasion, GTF was investigating the lair
Yeah,
of
when we
the
got
water
this
cultists.
shit, but we didn't find a prophet, I don't think.
You did not find a prophet, but you were in that sort of area.
Yes, we were out on the coast for a little bit off of Rolid, and while we were over there, we dealt with some cultists, but nothing of a prophet. At least to my recollection. Perhaps one of my other members might know. Do you remember anything, Snow?
I don't believe we encountered the prophet.
Rook
Maybe Maeve
says,
might have remembered something, but I don't.
Rook says, how much of that area did you actually explore?
The coast we didn't explore too invasively. We did have to go deal with a former associate, what I call it, Snow.
Tailholt?
Yes, dirty
He
business.
was a former member of my parish who had delusions of grandeur.
Right, but we do have a ship vessel on the coast to return to that location that we were dealing with the cultists if we wish to.
Oh, good.
You know, you might be able to get to their lair through the Nexus.
Like I was suggesting, these portals, if they do travel to these places, you can probably find all your weapons just by traveling through them. But something to probably bring up to Gordon the next time Ascendant comes through, certainly.
What if all 10 of us went down there? Huh?
I'm sure some god would be really upset if we did that.
I mean, I wouldn't be, but I know it's a pain for a player to play as two characters, as paradoxical as it is, as me being the DM.
We could combine our group's strengths and finally take a real thrashing to these cultists.
I know we have certain obligations to Gordon, but afterwards, it sounds like this is going to be a necessary aspect of preventing these cultists from traveling around, so it might be a suitable thing, just as we did in Force Stride.
Rook says,
Does your group have a way of dispelling magic?
I can cast the spell, yes.
Perfect.
I can as well.
Oh, excellent, Snow.
If you do come across, I believe there's a new fire prophet as well. We saw a woman, she walked away, just ignored us.
and she
But-
had the dagger.
Snow,
Yeah.
what was the name of Ignacio's little romance? My assumption it's her.
Alcia?
Possibly? Likely the case. Very, very ruthless. Having to kill her own lover because she believed he betrayed her for a moment. So,
Yeah,
news, you went-
but he was calling her Lizzie.
I almost feel bad for him. Being a
Bardic.
traitor, no.
Bardic recognizes the nickname Lizzie.
Oh, I know that name. That is Lysandra.
Oh, okay.
She is a very nasty woman. She actually hired us of the clan Dick. So, in a way, it's her fault that they're dead.
Well, it's very likely she's going to be somewhere where we just left. Because
As he says that, he trails off and looks towards the open window.
the wounds of old Dick.
Oh boy. The wounds of old Dick.
Well, this is a lot of news. I'm trying to find the best way to process what we should be doing right now. It's very likely the Nearthal Woods, as you mentioned, is dangerous, so we can inform Gordon of that at least. That it's likely whatever his
Mikhail's-
problems are going to come from there.
Mikhail says, well, they took me through it. That's where the Force Stride defectors are. It's where they're operating in. They have a
Gordon's-
few...
Go ahead.
They have a few camps around that area that they took me into, the Nexus, the caves that contain it. And then they have several of them that are just inside, I guess, on guard for any gestures to the entirety of the group here. You.
Yeah, Gordon said that he was trying to organize a coordinated effort into the Nearthal Woods.
a response, if you will.
Zachariel here. So are they on the lookout for us or for you guys?
We were coordinating with them our efforts in the woods once the fires were dealt with and the dragon was there. They said, do not engage the dragon and come re-coordinate in Force Stride to deal with the Nerthar Woods issue.
Okay, all right. So you guys deal with the woods. You could find the passage down into the Nexus in the woods after you clear it out.
Likely use it to go find the fallen Dick betrayer afterwards.
Vardic slams the table. Yes! Then he looks at Renwick. Sorry.
And Rook will say, relying on Hum, "Oh, that's right, and then they could go through that way, and then we can go through the Earth Tunnel again. It'll be almost like a pincer maneuver."
And Zachariel says, yes, we need to get Iron Fang back in that portal. Renwick, can you hold on to Windvane just a little longer?
"Not a problem," he says.
Tadias pulls out the Iron Fang one and says, we probably should cast a few spells on this one while we're at it. I don't know what our time limit is on right now.
Here's what I can do
Renwick
for you.
just walks over and...
Vardic's like, do you want me to heal it? I could see if it's lying.
See if what's lying?
Vardic is just talking about his spells.
Oh.
You should be good, Vardic.
Because Tadias took it out and said, well, we should cast some spells on this.
A particular spell, Vardic. I don't think its deceitfulness would be very useful right now.
It could make you move faster.
Renwick says, Renwick looks at Vardic after he casts Dispel Magic onto Iron Fang, and he says, "I can tell you're going to be a very valuable ally to our cause here." And it's genuine.
He looks at him. There's a little bit of trepidation. Thank you. I appreciate your hospitality.
Renwick, still in his sort of more human disguise, will reach out a hand for Vardic.
I mean, he'll take it. He's a hobgoblin.
Ice
He's not
cold.
used to be. It's a little off-putting, but he takes it and he kind of like shifts his hand up to his arm to give him like that warrior shake.
He accepts, yeah.
And then he tries to peer into his soul with his Heart of Darkness, so that Renwick knows that he knows how he's feeling.
There's a moment of shared understanding. It lasts a little longer than the room might be comfortable with. And then he goes back to his desk. God, all this old dick chat in the chat.
Oh God, what's going on here? Oh, kitties, were you gone?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well, you
missed the old trick thing.
You missed Zachariel saying that that they had killed the man who killed Gorbash.
Oh my gosh.
So we imagined Ren was going to react to that, but you were BRBing. We didn't.
Yeah, it was BRB.
I didn't see you, BRB. Sorry.
Who was the man that killed Gorbash?
It was Marshal Chunzal. He appeared to be possessed by some sort of other planar creature. They called him the Chained One.
That man will be dead. So dead you will not recognize him.
But right now, he's already been dead. He turned into this black smoke thing and went inside this pedestal. But hey, Renwick.
I should have gotten my vengeance.
Okay, well, like I said,
I will take up Vardic's vengeance then.
Vardic looks like you. That's my vengeance.
I will share it with
Go
you.
find your own.
I will
Zach,
take the vengeance of the dinks.
Zachary looks at yeah. Zach looks at Renwick. Renwick, have you ever heard anything of the Chain God turning into black smoke upon defeat?
He looks to Tadias, because I think Tadias mentioned what was revealed to him.
Yeah.
Well, I was more so asking if this turning to smoke upon his defeat was similar to, say, his phylactery.
He... Well, he looks at Tadias, and then he kind of catches that inflection, and he says, there are many dark ways to maintain a grasp on your mortal coil. Who knows?
Huh?
What you saw could just be him returning to a place for him to regenerate.
I see. So, Ren, you might still be able to get your vengeance.
Good. This is good. I need my vengeance.
And we know exactly where he's regenerating, so...
Would be the Nexus.
In the Nexus.
Take me there. Right now.
Well, Ren, what it sounds like they're proposing is we are going to meet up with Gordon. We're going to deal with some riffraff in the Nearthal Woods, and there is a portal in there that will lead us directly to this Nexus they mentioned, which should have Chanzal in it, as well as a pathway that would lead us to Mr. Vardik's revenge, and then we can just domino into both of them.
Oh, that sounds good. Let's go.
I'm still very interested in rest, but yes, indeed. And we do have...
There is no rest when vengeance is in order.
She's right. Only vengeance.
Vengeance!
Renwick gets like a look on his face and looks to Hum and Delia.
Maybe I should play, like, soft music?
Yeah, you should play a lullaby.
I'm thinking so. Hum pulls out the lyre that we got in one of our things and starts playing a lullaby.
Roll a performance check.
Oh gosh, I haven't even opened that sheet. Hold on.
I'm gonna say that it's so, like, soothing that everyone in the room, especially, and also Ren and Vardik, notice just how tired they are. Like, the music sort of supernaturally relaxes your body, and the tiredness of the long day's journey seeps in.
Ren. Perhaps vengeance is better served at a full rest.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was dozing off. Maybe we should sleep first.
What about our evening fight?
Are you feeling like we have to do that tonight?
I'm just saying, I did win the last two fights against you and... But if you don't want to do it, you don't feel up to it, it's fine, we'll go to sleep.
Stoneflame looks like
kicks back in the chair.
Stoneflame looks like he's about to, like, challenge that, and then he just... and he sits down on this sofa. And Renwick says, "You're welcome to stay here if you wish."
Maybe we just arm wrestle.
Zachar would like to approach Renwick. Just kind of like walk over to him. Renwick, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you know anything of regeneration?
Like your arm?
Well, the magic, more so. Or if normally people can do it. Like, could you regenerate a limb if it went missing?
Well, I'd have to destroy my body entirely and rely on the lich magic to return to the form you see now. But I believe we spoke about what's going on with you. He looks to Rook, and he says the same thing again in Gnomish. Or something else in Gnomish, and Rook kind of perks up. And you, Zachariel, you are a piece of, or you're the reincarnation of an elemental.
It's just so much to take in, you know. It's hard to wrap your mind around something like that. I miss the days when I was chasing down bandits and breaking their arms and dragging them back to jail and saving farms from owl bears and falling into rivers and almost drowning and waking in caves to find a group of strangers that are now my best friends.
A lot has happened over the past couple of months for you, hasn't it?
You know, I gave up a part of my own life for this shield.
Impressive, it says. So I think it's going to be a good idea to take 5. I wanted to wait until we said that that everyone was bedding down for the night, but take a 5 because Hum spends the next hour sorting through money. Is there anything else you guys want to do this evening with this conversation?
I'm good.
I believe most of the salient points have been made. Renwick offers everyone they can crash here if they'd like.
Since Hum song, Chadicus is doing like that fat man napping on his like own belly with like the drool bubble thing. Just on the stool over there.
Verdict would like to do something.
Alright.
Just kind of like as everyone goes to sleep, he's gonna like close his eyes and just kind of clutch the great sword of fallen Dick. And he's just gonna think in his mind, I don't know who you are, but how do you feel about Lich?
It's a good question. So, the feeling that Vardic gets is, that, this Lich has been wronged. And shouldn't exist, but does because of a betrayal from another.
Okay. And he still doesn't know what this entity is?
Well, he's asking how his god that gave him this second chance feels about Renwick, about
Yes.
about the concept of lichdom.
Yes.
No opinion.
Okay.
So, yeah. The night passes without incident. Although I will say, actually, let me just take care of this without making a big scene out of it. So, Rook would point out that the excavators have 3 earth carts. and he wonders if they could spare one for the sake of GTF, because they are faster than walking.
You would Rook. You would have to ask the elementals. They are free.
That's a good point.
I'm sure if you worded to them that, hey, we need your aid to help stop the calamity and the further corruption of your brethren, maybe they'd be more inclined to help carry.
Okay, this is going to be a scene now. Rook will talk in the sort of pigeon primordial with Chaticus. And he brings up the fact that, they didn't mention this over dinner, but they came across these vehicles that travel faster than normal walking. And it might be prudent for you to obtain one of these to get back to your city faster.
Chaticus doesn't respond because he's slumped over himself and unconscious.
Oh.
So he just quietly.
As everyone's starting to, like, settle down, Rook goes over to Renwick. Delia overhears a conversation. He's like, Renwick, can you cast that one spell on me again? Oh, sure. And Delia recognizes Renwick casting tongues on Rook.
Nice.
And Rook walks over to Snow, who is awake, and says basically everything that he said to Chaticus, but it doesn't matter because she understands. Earth carts. Faster travel.
She also speaks primordial.
Yes.
That's true. I forgot. Well, anyway, here we are. So Rook is offering to... Rook wanted to ask, like, Zachriel, because he sort of sees Zachriel as sort of the say-so about it because of the elemental thing, but then he told him that. And now he's like, well... we have fast carts, maybe you can use one. I don't know.
Thank you.
You have to ask it first, no.
I understand, Zachriel. Ask first.
Just be persuasive. They're quite nice.
So, yes, the night passes. Actually, let's see, it's 7 o'clock. Okay, I think we have time for this. So, let's do a rapid-fire group therapy. So, see if you can synthesize what your character is feeling. Maybe how they feel in the morning when they're waking up and they're just sort of letting all of this sink in. So we'll go around the table twice. If anybody feels up to volunteering a character to give us a dive into their brain space, feel free to speak.
I'll go first.
All right.
Delia has lots of anxiety. She really wants to help Renwick and like thinks that that's like super important, but at the same time dealing with the current pressing cult threat, and it's all sort of like just like weighing down on her. But she's doing her best to like take deep breaths and remain calm.
Going down the line. Nyx, does any of your characters have any sort of reaction to all this craziness that's going on, all this adventuring upkeep and administration, and all of the revelations?
Fox just wants to get on the road, start doing things.
I think you were cutting out there.
She said Vox just wants to get on the road and just start doing things.
All right, that's fair.
She's a woman of action.
She's a woman of action. Miles, give us a character.
Yes. Exactly.
All right, I think Chadicus is pretty simple. He's ready to go talk to Gordon about all these new things, and he's simply just happy to be asleep. When he woke up this morning, he just kind of felt rejuvenated because they had a long trip, and he actually got to rest inside and just relax for a little bit. Reminds him a little bit of his cottage, which he wants to get back to for a while.
Kitties.
Hum is, very curious about the whole phylactery, the whole 9 yards. She's really excited to just get some of this over with. She's a little worried about where she's going to live when this all ends. And, it's kind of feeding off of Delia's anxiety.
Zaffin Man.
Zachril is homesick. He misses his wife. He misses his daughter. He misses his pseudo stepson and pseudo step family. He misses Pebble. He misses Squirt, and he misses Ember. And he's wondering if any construction has been started on his house. And he's wondering how much it's going to cost him to add on an extra bedroom, or maybe he'll just make a bunk bed for Hump. But he knows he needs to focus on the task ahead of him. But in the back of his mind, he's thinking of Hump.
All right. Back at the top. Snow.
Snow is intrigued by Renwick, but is also very eager to get things done as well, because her primary mission is to eliminate cultists. And she's very singularly focused.
Anything from Bit's side? Nix?
Yeah, I think she's feeling a bit sad because she's thinking about her clan, because that was brought up when everyone was in the tavern.
So she's coming at it. That's actually an interesting point to think about. That she's coming at it from the side of she's already had her sort of vengeance. She's confronted the person that led the people that slayed her people, and she kind of tortured him and then killed him. Yeah, that's something interesting to keep in mind.
Was it worth it?
What about
Yes.
what about Tadias?
Let's see. I mean, Tadias is in this weird spot where things are starting to come together, where, some of the prophecy that he's been, given is starting to make sense to him. He wants to get some progress done. He wants to at least destroy one of these weapons to know that what they're doing actually can be achieved. But right now, he's a little bit anxious towards that, but not immediately, so he's just more, determined.
Ren?
Ren is a little bit, she's feeling anger that her brother's killer has been slain, but maybe not. So she's kind of confused. And she really wants that vengeance for her family. She's willing to follow the group, but she feels like she's being pulled towards the last place that this guy was at.
And Vardic.
Alright, so Vardic's got some things going on. So he feels resolve, and now he has Similar to Snow, he is of a singular focus in mind. He has a target. It's Lysandra. She's the one that hired them. He needs to kill them. He needs to kill her and all of her friends. But also, now with this conversation with this being that has bestowed him with this power, he feels like Renwick has been wronged. And it's his job to help him get that retribution. So he has to stand to his charge and his offer and his pledge to help Renwick reunite with his brother.
What? I will interject there, and I'll say that one of the tenets of the Vengeance Oath, maybe this isn't something that was verbalized, but part of it is that you are to fight the greater evil. So what's the greater evil to Vardic?
Oh. I mean, the greater evil to him is the people that have would be Lysandra.
Okay.
Unless, well, actually, he wouldn't know. He's still discovering what this divine being that is giving him power is. So, in his opinion, the greater foe would be the person who struck down his clan, which he can't really pin on anyone, so he's pinning it on the person that hired them.
Yeah, in truth, just to bring us to a bird's eye view, the individuals that were sort of responsible for that were just a pair of cultists that are a little bit higher than the peons that just brought down some ogres from...
Yeah, it was two of those flame guys.
And they're already dead.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that.
It's true. It's true. They didn't really... There was no real conversation about, like, the exact events of that battle after he fell.
But in his mind, like, that battle wouldn't have even happened if they weren't hired there, so now he's singularly focused on killing her.
Yeah.
And then, who knows, maybe at the end of that, he'll shift his focus towards something else.
Just constant vengeance.
Well, some people just... They are what they are.
So morning does come. So what does it look like when you guys are setting up to go? Is there any other business you want to take care of?
Well, Hum runs to
Yes.
the village bank and breaks up cash into little packages.
She ends up at the general store and is simple enough to trade gold for smaller denominations. Or the other way around, yeah.
So she throws each Delia, Tadias Vox, and Zachriel a little coin purse that has 352 gold pieces, 7 silver pieces, and 7 copper pieces.
Zachary looks at this money. Where did this all come from?
We've been collecting it. You guys have been weighing me down with it.
I need to get this back to Floriana so we can start repairs on our house. Might even be able to build you a room with this.
Sounds like you need to build yourself a hotel.
We might be a town by the end of this.
Just build an inn. You can cook food for people. Make money that way.
I like the way you think. What if we did a joint venture? Poor decisions great food.
I can talk to my father about it. Piotr is always wanting to do things with food, but Mom can only make so many things.
Maybe I'll be able to help Gizo build up the tavern again.
That's a good idea.
Seeing that's where I lived for so many years.
But yes, he deserves to have a tavern, but I think, I personally would feel better if you came to live with me, so I knew you were safe.
Zachariel, thank you. I appreciate that.
And also, I could keep an eye on you so you don't do anything rash.
Me do something rash?
Here's the bullet outside would let me, have an idea of your ability to stop her. I don't think you need to worry about that.
All right, the bullet. Lucy can come too.
She can?
She's not allowed in the house.
When you're there. I just know that Ciara is going to love Lucy.
What about Dante? She loves Dante. You used to love Dante.
I still love Dante.
What if Lucy eats Dante?
It's not going to happen. She eats rocks.
What if she mistakes him for a small, scrawny rock?
Dante's too wiggly for that.
Well, you say bullets eat rocks, but they ate my arm, so...
No. Someone commanded it to attack you. There's a difference. It wasn't eating you.
Thank you, Tadias.
It literally used its face to tear your flesh up. It's not for ingestion, just for damage.
Oh.
So it'd be more realistic to say, would it be okay if Dante was spread upon the front yard in scrawny little rock bits?
Oh my god, why would you...
Jesus.
Regardless, I don't think it's going to
macabre.
happen. I think you're fine. I just think also it might be realistically the best way, because then, as much as I like Lucy, bringing her in Forest Ride might be a little bit more problematic than up here.
Yep, I agree.
So Zachariah's home being outside of the town would be a nice place, I imagine, for her.
I was thinking the exact same thing. She should just live
But
at my
hang on
place with
now.
Zachariel. You're right, Tadias.
Were you thinking of leaving her with me and then living with Gizo again?
No,
Was that your plan?
You just offered me to live with you.
Okay, good.
I was
All right.
thinking maybe a little shack, my own little shack on the side.
She can come if you come, but if you plan to stay with Gizo, you'll have to find somewhere else for that thing.
People might like her.
You have to train her.
She is trained.
Better.
What about Gizo?
Gizo will love her.
No, I mean, where will he stay?
He has owned Twiddles and Fiddles for years.
Oh, so he's rebuilding.
I'm going to help him.
Oh, good. He will not miss your company?
Gizo will be happy for me. Since I moved to Forstride as a young gnome, he has let me live upstairs, but I rarely am there. I am a traveling bard. So he just keeps my stuff, mostly.
Oh, I thought he was like a father figure or something.
He is. But like all gnomes, when they grow up, they move away from their parents.
Looks at Delia.
Yes, of course.
Hey, I moved away from my parents.
She
We're
did.
still in the same area, but I live on my own.
That's such a great idea, Delia. We should live together
I like this
in
idea.
a little shack on Zachariel's land, and we could have Lucy and Dante, and Sihara can come over and we can teach her how to gnome things up.
Can we have
No.
a garden too?
Yes. Okay, there is one more condition on having Lucy there. If Pebble is still at the house, which
Alright.
I really hope he is, I'll be very
Pebble.
sad if he's not.
Yes, I see what they're saying.
You're not allowed to let her eat him. Elementals are more than rocks.
I'm not going to let her eat any living being.
You have to stop her.
I will.
If you don't stop her,
Jeez,
I will.
Dad. Just let me be grown up.
Don't make me ground you.
Hum stomps off like a teenager.
To be fair, you don't have a room to ground her in yet.
Hey, Renwick.
I guess we are still in here. Renwick, watching this all, getting entertained by it. Yes, Zachariel.
Are you able to transport something like a amount of currency to another place? Is that something you're able to do?
Do you have a transportation circle where you want to be transported?
I don't believe so.
I'm afraid not then.
Dawn.
You could ask your companions here to bring it to Forstrad. That's where they're headed.
Snow seems like she would be very trustworthy.
Snow.
Yes.
Can I get you to deliver something to my wife?
What is it that you need delivered?
400 gold.
I can do that for you.
I also want you to tell her that I love her. Don't kiss her. That's me. That's my job.
Okay.
Well, here's the 400 gold. I don't know. My wife deals like lightning magic now. Maybe she could. You could talk to her about Auril or something. I don't know.
If she wishes to hear my goddess's message,
Well, maybe
I'll make sure this gets to her. Don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll attach it securely in my bag.
Thank you. I'll put a good word in to Gordon for you for this. This is good. Good work.
So what does what do these two parties look like? Let's just sort of. So we also need to worry about who has the weapons. So excavators have the Iron Fang. Did you guys pass off Windvane, or is Renwick still gonna hold on to it?
I think the idea is to have Renwick hold on to it because we can't even begin to imagine where that portal is, and GTF need to handle the things for Gordon, right?
They're going back.
Defection.
They said they're going back because Gordon. All they got from Gordon was that there was raids on the outlying farms of Forstrad.
Yeah, and we informed them that it's probably coming from the North Hill Woods where the defectors are held up.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, not GTF. Excavators has Iron Fang. So that's the weapons. Renwick is going to do everyone a solid and cast a level 5 dispel magic on it before you leave. Does Snow do anything with the carts?
I'll just let everybody know that the excavators offered us to use the elemental carts, but we have to ask first.
We should definitely ask. This could speed things up. You know how Stormflame slows us down.
Why do you always say that to me? What did I do?
It's okay,
Oh.
Stormflame, because Ren is plenty slow sometimes when we're fighting.
What? You better watch your step, mister.
I
Them-
watch all step.
Them's fighting words.
Stunflame walks away from this almost altercation to where the excavators have the earth carts parked, and he leans down and he starts talking to it because he too can speak Terran. And then you hear him laugh, and he says, "That is a good one."
Snow wants in on this joke.
He says,
This is where Mike is Googling rock puns.
Perfect.
Maybe. He says, this is this is Busselt. And then Snow hears the cart say, "Hello," in Terran, the Terran dialect. And he says,
I got this.
"Oh yeah, what does he say?"
Yeah. He says, "You can take me for a ride. You can take me for a ride, but don't take me for granted."
And Stoneflame-
I'm
Stoneflame-
installing Discord.
And Stoneflame giggles. "I like this guy. Will you let us drive you?" He says, "Sure thing. You laugh at my jokes. They were told to me by the guys at Solid Strides. I miss them a little bit. I hope they're okay." So GTF has an Earth cart now. Mikhail has decided to stay with Renwick. Just to make sure that is a loose end to tie up. And so, in the early to mid-morning, we see the two groups part ways. Is there anything else you want to say to each other? Any parting words before the next phase of your adventures is upon us?
Do your best not to die. We need you.
I'll see you next time,
Yes.
Shaticus.
I
And take
will-
out my spatula.
I will be eagerly waiting myself, and I will try to produce a spoon from my bag, very laborious.
he like drags like a piece of clothing out with it, and
Yes.
A
Yeah.
pair of his boxers.
does Chaticus wear the kind of boxers with little hearts on them?
Of course. Well, they're little shrooms.
Beautiful.
I feel like we got ripped off. We had 2 cooks and we're eating dry tack for breakfast.
Consider it a thing to look forward to once we're done dealing with these cultists.
Well, we should have
Oh,
a
yes,
huge
I
full
remember.
count. Stoneflame says, "Oh, we should have a huge party when this is all over."
One would warrant it as a thing that needs celebration.
Good luck. Good luck. Stoneflame calls out to the excavators as you guys continue, or as you guys start heading out of town. And as they start heading down the Shilsh Road.
Goodbye again, Stoneflame.
Don't worry about him. He is in good hands.
He needs it.
I know.
So the excavators head north as the GTF heads east along the Silsh Road. And they find that the cart is simple to drive and faster than a horse's trot. We are going to focus on the excavators now for this and the next session. So, the excavators make their way back once again to the ruins of the Sacred Stone Monastery and again survey the intense damage to the rocky crags that was inflicted by the air elemental bomb and the intense erosion that would have normally taken years of wind exposure in mere hours, or in a mere hour. And going through the little tunnel that was dug out by Lucy, they get back into that long winding tunnel that leads to the Earth Cult lair.
Keeping an eye out for dragons.
Keeping an eye out for dragons. Keeping an eye out for dragons. And you have 2 carts at your disposal now, and it's kind of it's a little bit of a tight fit, but not too badly. So tell me, guys, who's driving?
Well, Zacheril has proficiency with land vehicles.
Okay. So Zachariel is driving one. Who's driving the other?
I'll drive the second one.
Okay.
I think, while we were in town, if I could have, I would have tried to maybe give Tadias some pointers. He's usually pretty good at this sort of thing, but...
Oh yeah, Tadias, you could take advantage of Aletic. That one thing that you get with Seeker.
Yeah, but then I'd lose my perception.
It's up to you.
I like that one a lot, so I think I'll risk hitting a wall occasionally and being flung out of it.
Okie dokie.
What if you risk hitting the inside of a dragon's mouth?
Well, I would at least saw it coming.
So the sound of the earth glide beneath you as you start going through the windy cave. You're familiar with its curvature, and at this point you kind of know where you are. And a couple hours pass as you're driving along, and you make another bend here, and
Why does it sound like voices in this music track? Is that my mind?
I think it's little bats.
it's there's like a weird hum that kind of sounds like a murmur. Yeah, I hear it too. The section of tunnel that you enter. Who has the highest passive perception? That's something I should have written down, but I don't.
I have an 18 with today's.
I have a 15.
I only have a 12.
10.
Tobias might be the.
This is why
What
you
about
need perception.
19.
Damn.
Which cart is Lucy on?
I feel like she's on the cart with Hum, which is probably Tadias's cart because she just wants to throw something at Zachariel right now.
Okay. Tadias, you hear a different sound over the din of the rumbling of the earth glide of the carts. A squishy, wet sound like clay being manipulated. And then suddenly the cart lurches and threatens to topple, but it keeps moving. And then everyone can hear what sounds like stones being broken. And then from the ceiling, for a split moment, a hail of pebbles falls at an angle toward you. I need everyone to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Well, the best of those.
Oh no.
Oh God! You know what?
Next time when we all die, when we TPK, it's all rogues.
Oops.
I'm gonna go ahead and steal my
Well,
resolve.
before you do that, well, yeah, you can go ahead and do that. It's just damage coming at you.
Can I use my inspiration that I've been holding on to forever?
You may.
Do I get to roll again, or do I have? Do
Inspiration. Oh no, inspiration is the, or DM inspiration is you roll with advantage, so you can roll again.
Okay, there we go.
All right, so the DC was 15. If you succeeded, you take half of this. On a fail, you take all that. As these rocks pelt you. And then, Rook, I need somebody to roll for Lucy, if you don't mind. I'll roll for Rook. He is successful, and for some reason it's still going to GM. Okay. I need to make him his own character sheet at some point. Alright, so Lucy will take 11 damage. Rook will avoid a good chunk of that. Alright, and Rook then calls out. He says, "Don't stop driving!" And you see this tide of mud appear and start chasing you.
I knew this guy was going to come back to haunt us.
So, you guys are gonna have to imagine that you're moving in this tunnel here. So you're not gonna roll initiative unless something else happens. So there's a little procedure we have here. So first thing that happens is, as you guys are going toward, or as you guys are continuing forward at full speed, Zachariel and Tadias see these pits of mud appear in front of their carts. And what I'm gonna ask you guys to do is to make a check. Oops. Oh no, what's going on? Make a dexterity check using proficiency with land vehicles if you have it.
Oh God.
Yeah. We doing a straight roll here, boys. Hey!
So this was probably just a +4. Oh, +3. Okay. No, it's a +4. All right. So unfortunately, Zachariel, you aren't able to avoid the pit, and it slows you down, and it lurches as the earth elemental struggles to push through it, and you notice that the weird mud thing gains a little bit on you, and now you notice from above you more of those hails of stones are being pushed, and We're gonna do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uh-oh. Oh no. A bunch of rocks go for Lucy.
Your history's greatest monster.
Oh my god, it crit.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, poor Lucy.
And the other ones bounce harmlessly off of her. But Lucy's gonna take some damage.
Eat them like snowflakes, Lucy.
She eats the other batch like snowflakes, but this one just caught her off guard. Wow, and it rolled really low and hits her for 10 damage. As all this is going on, Tadias, with your perception, now that you're like, oh shit, you're looking around, you can see that the cave looks like it's turning to mud, but you notice there's a glimmer. And reflected from the very slight ambient light that is allowing you to see with your dark vision, you see something sort of moving along inside the mud, and it looks like it was like pointed towards Lucy.
Is there any chance I could try to catch the light spell on one of my ball bearings and chuck it at that spot? Try to get stuck in the mud?
Yes. Yes, there is.
So I'm just gonna do that and say, there! To the rest of my party.
Go ahead and roll a ranged attack roll.
I can do that. I have one exactly for the random and class weapons.
Alright, go ahead and roll damage. Alright, so, the ball bearing smacks and it lights up the thing, and you can see that it's this weird yellow crystal that's in the mud, and it seeks back in, and the light winks out. You are now going to make your next check with disadvantage as another pit of mud opens in front of both the carts again. I need Zachriel and Tadias to make those checks one more time.
At disadvantage?
Tadias
For
at
me.
disadvantage because he was...
Okay.
Yeah. You get to add your proficiency, but you still rolled low, so...
I was curious, because I bonus action interact with objects, is that really too much of my concentration now? It's up to you. but
Well,
I'm
you
just wondering
didn't... It's that you cast the light spell, which takes an action.
Fair enough. Cool.
Because you both threw the thing... Well...
But I can do the action.
Yeah, okay.
as I- Up to you. The end of discretion, yeah. I don't know how this.
No, it's fine. No, I think I'm going to stick with that. So, again, the carts lurch as you're unable to avoid this pit of mud, and it gains a little bit on you. And then you see the light as the crystal comes out again with the ball bearing embedded in it, and you can see clearly how it's like making the mud that's forming in the walls turn into hard stone and shoot down. And we're gonna roll for average target or for random targeting.
Can I try and cast Dispel Magic on it?
In a moment.
This thing loves Lucy. Holy fuck.
It's not on Lucy.
Oh.
It's actually on 1, 2,
Oh, you rolled one, so
4,
it's fine.
5, 6, 7. One on Vox and one on Tadias. Or sorry, one on Zachriel.
Yeah.
And these are both at advantage because your cart was lurched and stalled a little bit. So... Oh, wait. Man, hang on. Alright, there we go. Okay. Alright, here's one on Zachriel.
Miss.
Hold on a second. Why is it +0? Yeah. I'll add 7 to that. Still misses.
Miss.
Alright, here's one on Vox. 24. Dealing... Ooh, shit. They rolled maximum. 15 bludgeoning damage. Okay. You now have your opportunity to counterattack. As this thing's exposed and watching you. So, The drivers, you guys can't attack. Unless you want to sacrifice, unless you want to take disadvantage on the next one, yeah. So everyone can clearly see what's going on. You can lob ranged attacks at it if you want. What's the range of Dispel Magic?
120.
Okay. Would you like to try Dispel Magic?
Yeah, so we're gonna do it at a 4th level.
Ooh. Okay. I wish I thought about Dispel Magic. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how to make this interesting. I think I'm gonna have it roll a save against your spell save DC. What's your spell save DC?
17. I mean, the spell says for each spell of 4th level or higher on the target, make an ability check using your spellcasting ability.
Ew.
The
Okay.
DC equals 10 plus the spell's level.
Yeah, make an ability check. DC 15. Okay. It's an ability check, not Arcana.
I think that's +5, right? So that'd be 15.
Well, you rolled a 7 to start, so what's 7 plus 5? 13?
12.
12. Okay, so unfortunately, it does not affect it. Unfortunately. Does anyone else want to try something?
Hum is gonna throw a couple magic missiles at it.
Alright. How many missiles?
She is throwing 2 charges.
2 charges. Is Vox doing anything?
Yeah, she's gonna shoot her bow.
Alright. That's a hit. You see several cracks appear on it, but it recedes back into the mud. A few more mud pits appear in front of the carts. Right in front of them. Try to navigate. Thaddeus and Zachariel. Another vehicle check. Oh no.
With dexterity again?
With dexterity.
Yeah, that should be a 13 on mine.
Okay, so Thaddeus and crew in this in this cart are slowed, but Zachariel manages to navigate through it, and for some reason the mud thing is not agreeing with me. And the weird wall gains even more.
Well, you might need to take this.
And we're gonna roll for some more of those attacks. It's gonna be Thaddeus and Delia. The one on Thaddeus has advantage. .25, dealing 9 bludgeoning, and then here's one on Delia, not with advantage. 10.
Yep.
Oh no. Ooh, 13
Oh.
bludgeoning.
Can I shield this?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Alright, you do that. Okay. At this point, it appears again.
I'm going to quickly turn to Hum and ask that she take control of this so I can attack this thing.
Okay.
Mainly because I am not on spot. So in that case, if she's gonna do that, I'm gonna like let my hands off the wheel for just a second. I'm gonna chuck. Looks like I need a magic knife.
I can't barely hear you.
Sorry, forgot Mike is on the right side. So yeah, I'm gonna check res at him if I can. Can I get a full round of attacks or just one attack?
You can get a full round of attacks.
Okay, go for res.
That's a hit. And Rezier strikes, and the thing collapses, and shards of yellow crystal fall on the floor, and the mud thing, the mud wall flattens out, and you drive past the shards, and there is no more danger.
Well done to death.
What the hell was that?
Probably that mud freak.
Mud guy, he didn't have yellow crystals around him.
Did you say butt freak? What did you say?
The mud freak?
Oh, mud freak. Okay.
Okay. Oh,
You have an imagination, sir.
I have.
You gotta calm down there, buddy.
Okay, all right.
It's been an evening.
California.
My lungs are full of smoke. Give me a break.
Yeah, fair
Outside
enough.
party.
But a minute passes, nothing. Another minute, nothing. Another 10 minutes, nothing. Seems that you've left the danger behind for now.
Do you think that could have been the you know what?
Do you know what?
Yeah, you know. The you know what?
The mud freak?
The dragon.
I don't know.
It was
I
either the
mean-
dragon or the mud freak.
The crystal wasn't the same color.
Seems more likely it was Mirage.
Oh god, what if there's another dragon with yellow crystals?
Well, they know we're using the tunnel for transportation.
What's a yellow crystal? Like a topaz or
Delia has been around elementalist students in Akka to know that topazes and the like are the most common crystal used to summon elementals or to keep them contained for Earth.
And they're very pretty.
And they're very pretty.
but
More minutes pass. No danger.
I guess we had to expect something, but at the last couple times we've come through it's been nothing.
And we have been using the tunnel a lot.
The same tunnel.
We've double backed on it several times.
There's no way the cult has learned this. Come on.
Come on, there's no way. You pass by the pile of purple crystals as well that you've been passing by. And eventually, you make it back to that one crossroads where you know the Earth Cult lair is.
Yeah. We made it. Is everyone ready?
Let's get this done.
Yes, let's get this done.
You enter into the Earth Cult lair, still abandoned. No one here seems to be waiting for you. It seems like whatever welcoming party you had was that weird mud tunnel. You go to the stairs, you descend into the darkness, and you come out the other side. In a weird way, you know that you just traveled like 60 miles in the span of 5 minutes. And as you walk down the stairs, where's my thing?
How much time do we have left on Iron Fang?
Ah, yes. You, thank you for reminding me. So the trip back is like 7 hours of driving. So you have 3 hours on Iron Fang.
I'll go ahead and cast a Dispel Magic on it.
You have 3
Just
hours,
at
though. Okay. So
it's not cumulative?
It's not... No, I never established that. I've been operating that it's not.
Okay, then I can wait.
Okay. 3 hours left on Iron Fang. As you guys quickly walk through the Earth Cult temple with the Ankegs running about, sort of recolonizing the place instead of being trapped in that one ravine. And as you guys go down the stairs, who's usually in front? Zachariel and Tadias?
Me for sure.
In the play recently, yeah.
All right. So, you guys enter the cult nexus, the Fane of the Eye, and as you make your way down the stairs, you can see down into the room, and you can see the west door. And as you start making your way down there, you see a Black Earth cultist standing in front of it. And as soon as he notices you... Oops. As soon as he notices you, he busts the door open, and he shouts out, "They're here!" And
This again.
we'll continue next
Welcoming
week.
party.
We'll continue next week.
Bye, Joy.
Where do they
Bye,
keep
Joy.
coming from?
Bye, Joy.
Bye, Joy.
Hi, Joy.